Hey, everyone, back at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse after preseason game number 2, officially in the books. Brendan Gulick, Spencer Davies with you, and because preseason results are not the be-all, end-all, we don't necessarily care so much about winning and losing, but every time you have a chance to compete, you want to win, so there was some small level of disappointment in that regard. 108-105 the final tonight. Frankly, it didn't look like it was going to be that close. Give the Cavs some credit for the way they fought, especially the guys that basically went out and won the Summer League. They were on the floor almost the whole fourth quarter. We saw some flashes from Emoni Bates again with another big three. Certainly not the ending you'd hope for when the Cavs were down 3 with a possession and never got a shot off. But ultimately, I think there was a lot of good to focus on.
Yeah, just from the two-way guys in particular, I loved what I saw from Craig Pruitt Jr. I know he had the turnover at the end, but you got to relax. So, it's his first time that he's getting exposed to this level. He made a little bit of an ill-advised entry pass. Big whoop. He had a lot to do with that comeback, as did Isaiah Mobley, as did Emoni Bates. The trio of two-way guys, and I've written about them on Cavs Insider, and you can read all about that. But those guys are the ones that are going to be the future. Those are the guys that are going to try and get themselves into this NBA level with a bigger contract and with, more of a role. It's just how things go. You look at Dean Wade, you look at Sam Merrill. It's that type of thing that happens when you come up from the G League on these two-way contracts and try to get a spot. And what do they do in the fourth quarter? They're down 17, and that trio ends up helping them come back and cut it down to 3. And I thought that was really fun. Emoni Bates treated it like it was like Game 7 in the playoffs, for goodness sake. So that was really fun to see that kind of intensity.
From the future to the present, where Darius Garland did not play great in Game 1 of the preseason, he was electrifying here in the first quarter tonight. Finished as the Cavs' leading scorer this evening. For the same reason we didn't freak out about Darius not shooting it great the other night. No reason to lose it over Donovan Mitchell not having a great night offensively. I don't think that's going to be anybody's concern as we go into the season. I thought Tristan Thompson gave some really good minutes. Loved the spacing we saw on the floor when Max and George were both out there. And frankly, Dean Wade had a really solid effort off the bench.
Yeah, no, Dean was one that kind of popped to me because he started out the second half and they kind of put him in with the starters, and they wanted to see a little bit of him next to Max, which maybe you didn't think maybe not have happened. We've seen him in the past. He's played the 3, the 4, the 5, and he's talked about after the game that he can defend 3 through 5, and he's able to share the court with those guys. But for me, with Dean, it just looked like he's healthy. He was moving around very fluidly, even tried to get a dunk in there, even though he lost the ball on the way up. But he did. He was able to space out, make a few threes, and make an impact on the game. And that's somebody that JB's trusted for a little while here. And he's earned that kind of trust in that spot. And he's going to continue to try and chip away to get these minutes because they're going to be limited with the amount of talent that the Cavs have brought in.
Speaking of JB, he did talk with us post-game, and probably because it's the preseason, it was pretty lighthearted, especially on the way into the press conference. There wasn't a whole lot of tension or stress. I think he is largely pleased with what he's seen so far. My biggest takeaway was actually about the question I asked him around, hey, I know you're going to shoot more threes this year, so you're probably not going to see as many free throws, just in a general ballpark. I said, is there a number of free throws where on a night you might feel like, okay, that's kind of where we should be, not that you're coaching to a number. And he just kind of went back to the style that they want to play and said, ultimately, it has more to do with, are we getting the looks we want? And then, frankly, doesn't really matter so much about those numbers.
Touch the paint, get it out to the perimeter. It's as simple as that. And you do want to play on the interior. Even if you don't get to the free throw line, you want to be able to put pressure on the other defense so you can pass the ball out, and then you can swing from there, and then you can swing from there. That's how you get ball movement in this league. And when you have spacers like Max Strus and George Niang, then that's going to help a lot when you get inside. And I feel like with this offense, you're just seeing a ton of cuts. You're seeing a lot of that positive energy with that ball. And that's something that we're not used to. We're not used to seeing them take half their shots or over half their shots from 3. This is something completely different for them. And I think that stood out about what JB said in the press conference was, look, these guys are still learning each other. They're learning where they like the ball. They're learning when they do have a guy like Max Strus streaking through the half court where he likes the ball. Does he like it down here? Does he like it up here? Does he like it coming around a screen? Does he like it off of a curl? Movement shooters. George Niang, same thing. What spot's he going to be in? Not everyone's going to always be camped in the corner. These guys are going to be moving the ball, and the guys that go off the ball are going to have to learn how to communicate with the guys who have the ball in their hands, which namely is going to be Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell.
And there's plenty of trust there, right? And I think it's more about like, look, internally, these guys probably feel to themselves, we've got the pieces. It's not like, man, we're really missing something, fill in the blank, whatever it is, that's preventing us from getting over the hump. I think it's just a different looking team, a different feel this year. It might take a little getting used to, because I tend to believe that the offensive style is going to seep into a little bit of the defensive metrics.
It will.
And that maybe we won't see quite the same level of like whoa defense where they lead the league. But if it's still, upper quartile of the NBA and you get that much more production offensively, overall, it might be a better product.
And Kobe Altman said it on Media Day. You got to score. You got to score to live in this league. And as long as you're league average or maybe like a top 10, whatever it may be, you don't have to be in the top 3 in defense to win a championship anymore. It's 2023. It just is what it is. There's a lot more space. There's a lot more pace. So that's just kind of how it is today. And I feel like with these moves, with these additions, you're seeing how much different this offense can look. And it's going to be faster. It's going to be a little bit more furious. And it might be out of control sometimes. But defensively, I think we also have to wait and see what happens, because Jared Allen's not here. And Jared Allen's one of the best rim protectors in the league. And when you don't have him around, then, yeah, you're going to have a little bit of trouble stopping guys from getting inside. But I thought for the most part, they did a good job stopping guys at the point of attack. The Magic just had a lot of movement going on with them too, and some of the guys were getting beat on the perimeter.
We also had a chance to talk with a couple guys post-game, Emoni Bates and Dean Wade. Those videos will be uploaded onto this YouTube channel here in just a little bit, so make sure you catch those. And certainly if you didn't hear from JB, we streamed that press conference live as well. We'll see you again real soon. The Cavs are 2 games in out of 4 in the preseason. The regular season is looming. It's not far away. They'll be back in action here against an Israeli team on Monday. So the Cavs will practice this weekend, but Monday will be the next time they'll be on the floor. We will have coverage for you, of course, right here on CavsInsider.com.